Hello guys and welcome to Sakitto, Japan for a much overdue edition in this Project Cars career. Season 3, ever so slightly coming to a close here, but the problem is that, we've seen so many patches in Project Cars here over the last 4 or 5 months since I was here the last time, and I am finding that my setups from last season here are, well, to be perfectly honest, they're really no good anymore. So it's kind of a back to the drawing board experience on most tracks here. Some tracks, the setup is still good, just have to make some minor adjustments. And other tracks like Sakitto here, it's a completely different experience. And basically, you got to start from scratch all over again. Anyway, to the business at hand here, this is going to be our one and only qualifying lap here, and I've done some practice laps, and I think I got the setup down for this one. It's going to be interesting to see. Coming down the straight here into turns 1 and 2, at least that's how I see them. One of the problems with these Project Cars original tracks is that you don't really have a track layout to go for here, so I'm just going to be calling these as I see them. I have no idea what the turns are called, let alone the numbers, and coming through the left-hander here, which is Dunlop on the Suzuka track. So far, I think we're hitting this time nicely here. Best Sector 1 time here so far. But then again, if you look at the clock here, I don't think many cars have been out to set a time yet, as a matter of fact. So it's going to be a little bit touch and go here. As you can see, just as we come through that sweeping left here into the right-hander, it's a very bumpy section of the track here. They have a couple of patches like this, and as such, I've had to go with a much softer spring setup than I went with last year, and I'm not really sure what the deal is with that, but man, I've been losing the front end of the car in practice like crazy because the springs were just simply too firm there. So I had to loosen the car up, and hopefully that is going to help us set a decent time here. This is the second part of the track. If you don't hit, there you go, see the bumping going on here. If you hit that the wrong way with way too much speed here, that front end is just going to go flying off and you're going to be into the barrier there. There you have it, provisional pole here, very nice indeed, and I think that was actually an improvement over our time last year. And we're just going to have to wait and see whether or not any of the AI cars are going to be beating this one, but so far I think things are looking pretty good here for a top 5 finish. And there you have it, boys and girls. We are going to be starting first on the grid for tomorrow's race. Christian Wiseman is in P2 and Kirill Baranikov is in P3. And what's more interesting is that I'm not seeing any of my closest competitors there, Petro Ferreira or what's his face there, not Ian Bell, Greg Barbier. I'm not seeing any of those guys in the top 10 here, so that is definitely a positive. So here we are, guys, getting ready to get out of the gate. As always, it's going to be imperative to be the first car into the first turn there, and we have a little bit of wheel spin on the start here, momentarily down into P2, but we get the car going as we get into the first right-hander here in P1. We have Christian Wiseman right behind us, and I believe Ian Bell still in P3. So basically what you're looking at right now coming through this left-right-hand part of the track is the grid basically intact here as we come up the hill into what is Dunlop on the Suzuka track. Still Christian Wiseman in P2, and it appears that Ian Bell is right on his gearbox right now. And coming through the right-hander here, taking this one nicely. That turn has given me a whale of a time during practice, I have to say. And finally, I managed to find a way to hit the apex properly there, so very happy with this one right now. Just going flat out through the sweeping right-hander here. We're going to be dropping it down to third into the left-hander. And this is just the second corner here, just sort of closes up on you. It always surprises me how easy it is to run wide in this particular turn here. And as we come back out on the crossover straight here, as you can see, we are probably running a setup with a slightly less downforce than the AI because we're pulling away right here. But coming through this sweeping left, we have no choice but to lift with the current weight of fuel that we have in the car, and the AI are really catching up to us at this point. Hopefully, this is gonna sort of correct itself as we move further into the race here and burn fuel as a result, and the car's going to get a lot lighter. Anyway, lap 1 status here. We remain in P1. Christian Wiseman still in P2. And we have a whole pack of cars right behind us here. So by no means are we pulling away. As a matter of fact, we're probably going to have a whale of a time keeping these guys behind us here. Running very wide through this right-hander here. Didn't want to take it that way, but we managed to maintain position here. Taking away the inside line. Christian Wiseman having a look down the outside. That's not going to help him much. And as a result, we are opening up a slight gap to him at this point. A little too late on the brakes here, running wide into the left-hander here, just almost losing the back end as we get too early on the throttle here. And as you can see, Kirill Baranikov is now overtaking Christian Wiseman there. He had a look down the inside of us there, couldn't make it stick, and as a result, Kirill Baranikov pouncing on the opportunity as he is now into P2. And lifting way too much here, coming through the left-hander, Kirill Baranikov right on our exhaust. And we almost losing the back end here, coming through the final turn as we have Christian Wiseman having a look down the inside, but Kirill Baranikov going down the outside of us here. We're going to see if we can make this a break-in match here into turn 1, making the move stick as we are back into P1 here, almost crashing the car there. Hectic indeed. And Baranikov just not willing to take no for an answer here. He has another look, has to back out of that one as we close the door, but running way wide into this right-hander here. And I'm starting to think I probably should have tested this setup with a little more fuel in the car here, because the nose is just so difficult to control right now. And we are really suffering because of it here as we get hung up on the curb here, running, oh man, just running off track completely. Kirill Baranikov going down the inside of us there. Christian Wiseman doing the same thing as we are down into P3. Oh my God, what a mistake. Right now, it's just going to be a question of not doing anything stupid. Just hang on to these guys. Wait for an opportunity. One is going to present itself here as we run way wide again here. And Daniel Waltz, our teammate, just sneaking down the inside of us as we come out on the crossover straight. And things are not going well right now. And currently, we are into P4. Don't want to get too close to these guys here up on into the left-hander here. We're going to be losing downforce. We're going to get the dirty air, and we're going to be running off track. That's almost what happened here as we now have Tobias Coltau putting us under pressure here, just cutting him off ever so slightly, coming out on the main straight. But right now, things are not looking all that great. Lap 8, no change overall. We are still in P1, but as you can see, the top 3 there are starting to pull away ever so slightly. They're about 2 seconds up the road here. It's not like we're losing contact with them, but we're definitely not gaining on them either. On a side note there, we still have Tobias Coltau putting us under pressure from behind. We are not in a position where we can make mistakes at this point. And right now, it's just going to be a question of not doing anything stupid. Wait for these guys to wear out their tires. That is going to happen within a couple of laps, I would expect. And then see if we can't gain some sort of advantage on them there. Pretty much as I expected there. As you can see, Tobias Coltau is now dropping back by 1.5 seconds there, and we are maintaining contact with the leaders, so that's a constant. I'm starting to think Tobias's tires might be suffering a little bit, and if you look at our tire wear there, something is definitely going on. Somebody almost running off track. There was a little bit of a puff of dust there as somebody touched the curb, and I'm starting to think we might be going in for a pit stop here, see if we can't get some sort of undercut going and make an advantage out of that, hopefully. And just as I was talking about, we are coming in for our first pit stop, coming in for a fresh set of tires, and hopefully that is going to give us an advantage, the advantage that we need to catch the top 3 there. And again, that TrackIR bug, I don't think they're ever going to be fixing that, but as long as they're not going to be dropping any wheel nuts or we're going to be having electrical problems, this actually appeared to be a pretty quick stop there. But we are way down into P18 regardless here, so jumping ahead to lap 16 here, as you can see, we are still down in P18, and surprisingly enough, none of the AI cars have been in to make a pit stop yet. We have 3 cars in the pits here, but those are all DNFs, so that has nothing to do with scheduled pit stops or anything like that. So I'm expecting that the AI are actually making a one-stop race out of this, and that means we need to improvise here. We might be finishing the race on some very dead tires, but I think we can manage. Lap 22 here. As you can see, the pit lane still more empty than my bank account after Christmas time, and I'm starting to worry whether or not the AI are actually going to come in to make a pit stop in this race here. We've seen late stops before, and that is still a possibility here, but right now we're looking at a P18 finish. Coming out on the crossover straight, right on the exhaust of Jatran Dimich. His tires must be stone freaking dead at this point here. Just going down the inside, no drama whatsoever. At least we're going to be making up one spot. But the pit lane, I'm not sure whether or not this is a bug, empty as ever. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the AI deciding not to pit at all in this race here. And as a result, we are going to be finishing well outside the points. P17 for us. And this is not exactly what I had expected, I gotta say. And there you have it, guys. Kirill Baranikov taking the win here today. Christian Wiseman in second. And our teammate here, Daniel Waltz, at least saving some of the Auto Rebel honors. Rounding off the podium in third. So I guess if we're going to be looking for positives in this results, it's the fact that neither Petro or Greg Barbier managed to finish with any points either. So I expect the championship standings to remain pretty much status quo there. As you can see, we are still leading that one. 167 points, Petro in second, 102 points, and Greg Barbier in third with 100 even. As always, guys, if you enjoyed this one, please be sure to leave a like or subscribe to this channel for more Project Cars action, and I'll be back soon enough, hopefully with some pitting AI. Bye-bye.